All right, fellas, let's talk about your feet. Let's talk about your feet and your boots. How you're wearing your boots. I don't mean your foot in your boot. I mean how you're wearing them. There's a lot of comments and stuff that a lot of you guys are never taught. You heard, and you heard it wrong. You heard the old timer say something, and actually, it was probably your grandfather or your great-grandfather said something, and your father heard something, and he chirped it to your uncle, and then your uncle chirped it to you, and now you think it's gospel. And let's get into it. Here's your foot, here's your boot. Right off the bat, if you're only going to watch 15 seconds of any of these videos, I'm going to tell you this right now. A very, very wise man who's very wise about shoes, named Jerry, told me this a long time ago. He said, you don't break in shoes. You don't buy shoes, take them home, wear them, and break them in. You buy shoes that fit. You don't break in shoes. You buy shoes that fit. Now, you can see this thing has really been conformed to my foot over the years. It just gets to be a better friend. But when I bought this, it fit, and it was comfortable, and I was able to take it home and the next day go to work and wear it all day without any problems. Had brand new cushion inside. Oh, felt like a dream. Buy shoes that fit. I'm not telling you got to spend $1,000 on a pair of shoes. I'm telling you, buy a shoe that fits. You don't break them in. Moving forward. Now then, if you're going to be in this shoe all day long for work or on the trail or hiking, here's what everybody's been told. You need to wear 2 pairs of socks. 2 pairs of socks. Well, of course that makes sense. Does it? Has anybody thought about that statement at all lately? You got to wear 2 pairs of socks. Well, what does 2 pairs of socks do? It gives you extra padding. Oh, of course, more cushion, yeah. Here's the problem, is there's so many people that want to take these big old hunting socks, and they think, oh, they're thicker, they're paddier, I'll wear those, they'll be better. And they're miserable on the trail. They're miserable out and about. They go hunting and their feet are freezing. Their toes are cold and it forces them to go in at, about 9:30 in the morning because their feet are just frozen. The big old hunting socks. Oh no, I'm sorry. I should have had big old wool socks. Wool. Oh, wool's the way to go. Oh, I'm sorry. I needed 2 pairs of socks. So I needed to put this on, and then the wool sock, and then this, and we put these on, and then we cram our foot inside this boot, and then it's tight as any, and yeah, that's what Grandpa did. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. You know what these are great for? When you come home and you get this boot off, and you want to walk around the house, but your feet are still kind of cold, put on these giant socks, walk around the house. That's what they're great for. They're great whenever you get off the trail and get in that sleeping bag and you get your feet out of those socks you've been wearing all day, and you put them in a pair of these or a big old pair of something. Oh, then you sleep snugly all warm all night. That's what these are for. So, Crazy Uncle Damien, what are you talking about? Let's start right off the bat. Cotton. For fashion, everybody's got me convinced that I got to wear black socks, but I don't care if they're white or black. Cotton. Oh, but cotton kills. Cotton. I wore boots for work for decades, and my feet don't stink or sweat. Why? Cotton. Now, the best that you can generally do in normal scumbag stores you're going to find, the best you're going to find is like 85% cotton. If you get above that, it's not going to have any stretch, or the stretch is just going to go to crap real quick and they'll fall apart and everything. About 85% cotton. As much cotton as you can get in a sock. Why? Cotton will absorb the moisture and the salt and the sweat from your foot. It takes it away from your foot. Oh, but wool wicks it away. No, it doesn't. Wool is something that will have a padding that you can wring out and then still stay warm. But if you're going to wear a boot all day for work or all day for hiking, get some cotton. Now, if you're going to be wet environments, constantly soaking that foot, yeah, a wool sock's great because then you can take it off, wring it out, put it back on, and your foot is dry-ish. As long as you have a boot that will let the water out. Cotton. Your feet won't stink. They won't sweat near as much. These synthetic socks. Everybody thinks they need synthetic sock. Oh, the wicking. Oh, they're the high performance fabric wicking. Get lost. It doesn't take it off of you, and your foot will sweat. And all you guys who are wearing these plastic synthetic socks, your feet sweat and they stink, and your boots and your shoes stink. They reek. Cotton. Go with some cotton. And it's not going to be overnight. It might take a week or two. And that one pair of boots you already got the stank is probably already got a stank no matter what you do. But if you ever get a brand new pair of boots, go down to the normal scumbags, get some cotton socks, and right off the hop, start with that. Start with a clean foot, maybe a little powder. A little powder doesn't hurt. And some cotton. Cotton kills. In the summertime, yeah, try to kill me. Try to freeze my feet when it's 90 degrees. Yeah, do it. Clean socks every day. Every day. Sometimes, if you're really in it to win it, maybe twice a day. At lunchtime, you take them off, put on a clean pair. Oh, you feel like a million bucks. Let's talk about two socks. Why? What are they talking about two socks? I've taught this a few times, and here's my teaching bag. Two pairs of socks. Why two pairs of socks? It's not two pairs of socks. It is a sock and a sock liner. Now, in this example, and when I did backpacking, when I did a lot of outdoor stuff, I wore these. These are actually Bombas, whatever you... I'm not selling them. I'm saying that they're a fantastic wool sock. It is a sock that you can wring out. It is a sock that doesn't... And now, the sock liner. These ones are Wigwam. There's different brands. They're actually getting harder and harder to find because people don't understand how they work. A sock liner. It's cotton. And it's very thin. Think about your dad or grandpa's socks that he wore to church. This is his thin socks, business socks, right? Here's how that works. You put the thin sock on first. And then you put the wool sock over top of it. And then you put that in your boot. What happens is the thin sock is cotton. It will absorb stuff off your feet and keep your feet from feeling sweaty. Your feet are going to sweat. It's not going to feel sweaty because the cotton is going to absorb that and take it away. And it's also going to deal with any of the bacteria there. Synthetics don't deal with bacteria. So you have the cotton stuck to your foot. You put on the wool sock sticks to the boot. Now, when you're walking along, if you normally just have a sock in your boot and that heel rubs, or rubs and rubs and rubs, and that's how you get a blister. If you have a sock liner stuck to your foot and the sock stuck to the boot, the rubbing happens sock to sock. Let's wear out, let's get a blister on the sock. Let's let that wool sock stick to the boot. Let's let that cotton sock stick to your foot. Let that rubbing happen between those two socks, not sock pulling on the skin and creating... In all the time I've ever been out, I've never carried moleskin. I've never thought of taking duct tape and putting it on. Now, some of those AT hikers, some of those PCT guys, you are pretty serious, and you're going to say you're going to get blisters because you're driving 30 miles a day on these trails. All right, well, that's a little bit of a different story. But on your average guy who's going to be hiking 8 miles a day, maybe pushing 10 miles a day, maybe hunting a couple of times a year, this is how you need to think. This is what you need to be teaching the younger people. When you say 2 pairs of socks It's not two giant pairs of socks crammed in so that your feet are crammed and can't breathe and can't move. With this, it's a very thin sock. It's a normal size wool sock. It's not a giant wool sock. And your feet can splay and move how they need to. You'll have a whole lot more control, and they won't be as hot. Cotton and wool will breathe. Now, as a side note, I'm going to say this. All these Thinsulate crammed shoes. I learned at a very young age, and it's very, very hard to find now, shoes that are not insulated. If it's 70, 80, 90, 100 degrees outside, why are you wearing insulated shoes? Oh, it's got 1,100 grams of Thinsulate. Why? What are you insulating against? The heat of the day? I don't think so. Maybe the sole from the concrete. Maybe the sole from the cold ground or ice. But all of this in the summertime does not need to be insulated. And the industry really has all of you guys fooled into believing that it has to be. If you can find straight leather, one piece of leather, it doesn't have to be insulated. There's just a thought for you guys to roll around in your head tonight. Your feet will be, they're lighter. If it's just leather, they're stronger. That leather will conform to your foot. Oh, it's a boot that you'll love forever, and you'll cry when it's wore out. Staying warm. Getting your foot on the cold concrete, asphalt, frozen ground. That cold radiates right up through there. If you are in a warehouse or commercial or outside on the roads during the dead of winter when it's really, really cold, that cold just radiates right up through there. How do you combat that? Well, I'm not saying you always can, but if you can, get a natural material between you and the ground. For years and years camping, if you guys have heard any of these videos, you know I camped a lot with the Boy Scouts. We'd be in these cabins standing around all evening, shooting the breeze and teaching on the cold concrete. And everybody always thought it was funny that Crazy Uncle Damien always pulled a piece of firewood off the fire pile. Something was a little flatter, a little board-like. And he was always standing on this wood, always kicking this piece of wood around the cabin, standing on it. I always thought that was weird until some people started saying maybe there's something into it. And they started standing up on a natural barrier between the concrete. And it only takes about 2.5 minutes and you realize, oh, you feel it in your ankles and your knees and your hips and your shins, the cold radiating up through that concrete, just standing on it. And if you can get up off of it, it makes a huge difference. If you are on stand, if you're on deer stand, sitting, waiting, if you can get some sticks or even a pile of leaves or a stick, piece of wood, anything to get your feet up on, instead of having them set on that ground, your feet will stay a whole lot warmer. It is a magic trick that the old timers didn't know they had to tell you. So there you go. Put a little thought into it. Think about what you're doing with your feet. Take care of your feet. Clean, dry feet are happy feet, and will take you wherever you need to go. Every day, fellas, either teach or learn. On a good day, you do both.